morning, everybody. Welcome to Havering Business Morning Commute. I'm your host, Chris Dames. We've got Martin joining us already, and we've already started the conversation about park runs. And we're going to let the people in the waiting room in now, Russ, if you'd like to do that. And then we can go from there. Just on that note, Martin, while we're on park runs, so my one's Harrow Lodge. I know your one is Raphael's. Is it Raphael's or is it Raffles? I don't know.
Well, we say Raffles.
Yeah. So I am desperate for park run to come back. That used to be my Saturday morning. So is there any whispers on when it is coming back or not?
I think Carol heard something. Go on, Carol.
June.
They're aiming
for the start of June.
Start of June. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I love it. Well, what I'll do is I'll come over to Raphael's Park and we'll have a look, because the run around the lake, the one that I do tends to be just one long route, but that run around the lake is quite good fun. So I'll make sure I'll join you for a park run one Saturday morning.
I don't always think that by the time I get to
Shelley, can I ask you to turn your mic off, please? Is that all right?
Sure, no problem.
We'll get her in a minute. So anyway, the other thing that I want to talk about this morning, because my morning routine is a bit up in the air at the minute because we're transitioning back to the office, as you can see. So just as a start of 10, just a conversation starter. And the other thing that I've started with my morning routine is just having a proper coffee, like cafetiere coffee, to get me going in the morning. So from your perspective, and we'll start with, Carol's got a cafetiere already. We'll start with Leslie today. What is the most important bit of your morning routine?
Oh, this is a sort of the first hour or so, really. And I do about a 15-minute meditation, some stretches to help my back, and then I do 20 minutes on the rowing machine.
Okay.
And if I've got a breakfast meeting, I get up earlier.
Gotcha. So it's 15-minute exercise and then meditation. And is that?
I do the meditation first.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't settle down if I've done exercise.
Yeah. It's like me after a coffee, to be honest.
No, coffee doesn't come into my day till about 10:30. I only have one cup a day.
Okay, it's a good routine. I like that. So 15 minutes exercise, 15 minutes meditation, and that sets you up for the day.
And about a litre of water.
Good stuff. Not while you're rowing, though, I'd imagine.
In between, yeah. I get through about a pint and a half of water while I'm in between rowing.
Well, that's a habit.
I do rotations, so I do high intensity. So yeah. So
few seconds on and then off, yeah?
Yeah, I do sort of 30 seconds going for it and then 30 seconds off, and then every four or five rotations I have a drink.
I'm assuming that you don't try and drink the water while you're going for it though, right? No. That would be, I mean, that might be entertaining, but not a particularly good idea.
No, I'm a systems freak. Everything is measured.
That's not a bad way to live. And what I need to do is get into the habit again of exercising in the morning, because then you don't put it off, do you? You just get up and do it. I need to get that in my life again.
It becomes a habit. So you just do it without even having to stop and think about it.
Yeah, it's a good move, actually. Okay, Terry, talk to me about your morning routine. What do you do every day?
It varies every day. Although I'm glowing a little bit now because Monday, Wednesday, Fridays I have a 6 a.m. PT session by Zoom. Yeah. So that's something I started in September, just because I was falling off a cliff. Like, as we were getting into bad weather, I wasn't going out on the golf course or anything. So
yeah.
But I've historically, because I was working in the city for so long and I was getting on a 6 o'clock train. Never really, it was a question of getting yourself up, ready and out.
Your morning routine is just getting into town, isn't it? I
just hit the ground running and then work out what I'm going to do next. So never really got into a stable routine. So
I mean, that's part of, I suppose that's part of the challenge when you run your own business, isn't it? Because like all of those routines about being in the office,
yes,
and then are out the window, really. Yeah. You can do what you want.
One of the things that I really focused on when I came out of the city was local networking, because otherwise I wasn't going to see anybody. I was going to sit at
Yeah.
my desk and pick up the phone and talk to existing clients or new clients. And I'm like, I need to go out and mix. I need to see people. It's for my mental health, if nothing else.
But that's the thing. I mean, we're in a position where we, you know, at Savella, we take on new clients and we've got new clients coming on all the time. But I've got no real need in terms of the business growth to do loads of networking, but I do get social benefits from it as well. Do you know what I mean? It's the
Absolutely.
going out, sharing experiences, meeting people, sharing challenges, you know, that sort of thing is important as well, right? When
And
you're
it's
in the
just
business.
sharing challenges and getting feedback from other local businesses and how they're dealing with things. You know, so you know you're not on your own.
Yeah, 100%, because it can be lonely, can't it? So yeah, I like that. Thanks, Terry. Really appreciate that. Christine, talk to me about what's in your morning routine.
So up until about 2 months ago, it was probably the same as Terry, just get up, get dressed, and that was it, start the day. But Tracy kind of introduced me to yoga. Even though I'd done it before, we used to do a body balance class together before lockdown once a week. But she said, oh, try this guy out on YouTube. So now my morning routine is half an hour with one of his routines. So I think I've got about 6 at the moment that I rotate. So I start my day with that. And I've tried to ditch the coffee. It's not the same every day, but I start my day with lemon and honey.
That sounds far healthier, but not as much fun. Who's your yoga guy on YouTube? Who's you use?
His name is Travis Elliott, an American guy, Travis, and then Elliott.
Is he from California? Because all yoga teachers seem to be, don't they?
Yeah, Santa Monica, I think it is. But yeah, but it's not high intensity, so it's for all ability. So it's more about stretching the deep muscles rather than kind of trying to hold a really difficult pose in a really awkward position. So,
but you know what? I don't do any stretching stuff at all, and that's really bad because you need that balance, don't you, when you're training? You know, I don't do enough of that. What I did do, because I went to a marathon preparation event that the hospice was running a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really bad at cool downs and warm ups as well. I don't do enough of it. And they said get yourself a foam roller. So I've got this thing arrived from Amazon that apparently is meant to be really good at sort of massage post run. I haven't got a clue what to do with it yet, so I'll have to YouTube that and see what I do with it. I'm not gonna go on social media and ask for suggestions because that might go completely wrong. Ian, talk to me about your morning routine.
On mornings like this, it's just the 3 S's, including the shave and the shower. When there's no early morning meetings, me and the other half do like to go out for a walk. We've got some nice woods behind us, so we pop out for a walk together, and it's a time of the day where we get to like connect properly. I don't know what it is, but when you're out, or when we're out walking together, we seem to be able to talk a lot freer. Strange, isn't it?
You know what? I think, you know, the environment's important, isn't it? And sort of, particularly in a year where we've all been sort of stuck in our houses, just changing that environment has an impact.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
Yeah. How far do you walk?
We normally do about 3 miles of a morning.
Yeah, it's a good habit. Love it. Great stuff. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. Phil, how are you, mate? Long time no see.
Yeah, how you doing? Good to see everybody. I've not been on for a few weeks. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, so what's your morning routine?
Typically, it's a bit chaotic in the morning, getting trying to get the kids out to school most often. But yeah, I try to get up, have a good breakfast, have a cup of tea, sometimes a coffee. If I have time, I like to do a little bit of cardio in the morning. But otherwise, when quite often Amy, my wife, takes the boys to school, I'll take the dog for a walk. So it gets me out kind of first thing in the morning, sets kind of a good habit. So yes, try to get out in the morning to walk the dog, or get on the bike in the morning if I have the time.
But that's the other change in routine over the last couple of weeks, because the kids have gone back, haven't they? So yeah. I've been walking Sophie to school every morning, and that's been, apart from sort of when I've got stuff like this, but that's been quite a nice sort of bringing the routine back a bit. Yeah, amazing, great stuff. That sounds really good. Simon, talk to me about what's in your morning routine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm lucky to say I've got an exercise accountability partner. His name's Blue, and 5 o'clock every morning, he reminds me that he needs to go out for a walk. So yeah, I'm honoured. So the first thing is to put my step watch on to make sure I count the steps. Go out with him, shower, shave, etc., and then to the computer, to the office.
Well, you know what's weird though? I mean, it's getting a bit competitive in our office at the minute because Cass has got a step watch, Hervey's got a stepwatch, Russ has got a stepwatch, and they're all on this like little group on Fitbit that tracks how many steps they're all doing. Yeah. And like after the conversation in the office at the minute is how many steps you're on, how many steps you're on. So it's interesting how it keeps you accountable. I've got this image of Herv at like 11 o'clock at night running up and down his flat trying to get the extra 5,000 steps to win. How many steps are you doing a day, Simon? Are you doing quite a lot?
During the week, it's my target is 10,000. Saturday or Sunday, I smash that, probably double it on some occasions. Yeah, it can be difficult. I think the benefit of having some sort of measure during the day is that you can have a look at it and think, you know what, I'm spending too much time in front of the computer. Do I need to go and get a bit of fresh air, recharge the batteries in some sort of way? It also means that I've could give myself an excuse to go and make more coffee because I've got to go downstairs to go and make coffee. Oh look, I haven't done my steps. I'll go and make some coffee.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to be careful with that. All right, thanks, Simon. Appreciate that. Lee, how are you? Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Yeah. Morning, everyone. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. What's part of your morning routine?
Well, it's very similar to Simon's in actual fact. It's generally an early start, peppermint tea to start, sit down, catch up on the sports the previous night, Sky Sports News for 20 minutes, and then out with the dog for a good, sort of 45 minutes to an hour generally. So it's a bit of fresh air.
You know what, dogs are quite good, at getting you out and about, aren't they? Because they don't take no for an answer. My dog definitely doesn't.
Well, he just constantly whinges and sort of, just shoves his nose and, and pokes you until it's that time you get out. So.
Yeah, my dog's not popular in my house today because he had the bins out yesterday. Right. So he's a bit of a scavenger. So he's not popular at the minute. And where'd you go? Did you go sort of on the roads or in the parks? Or where'd you take him?
With the weather as it is at the moment, the parks is just far too muddy and boggy at the moment. Although on the weekends I take him over there, but it's just on the road really. So we've got a little small park near us, so a little bit of green, but just mainly on the roads really.
Cool, good stuff. Yeah. Thanks, Lee. Really appreciate that. We'll talk business in a minute. Rachel, talk to me about what's in your morning routine.
Definitely a shower. That's the first thing. And my sons make me a coffee, and I make sure they're ready for school. And I walk down the end of the garden and come to my office.
So, do your sons? Because how old are your sons, Rachel?
12 and 10.
And do they go to school independently, or do they?
They absolutely do, yeah. So I'm quite lucky where, obviously, Harry's at secondary school, so he's in year 8 and takes himself off. Very independent, and I'm trying to get my 10-year-old to be the same. So he doesn't have to cross any main roads. It's a walk to school just up around the corner. So he takes himself. It's a breath of fresh air when that happens. You waste so much time on the school run, it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, you know what? I mean, my youngest, my eldest is 17, and it'd be really weird if she didn't take herself to college. But my youngest is 9, and we're at that sort of age at the minute where we're just trying to give her a bit more independence. And deciding when it's the right time to sort of give her that sense of freedom. I don't think there's any right answer, is there?
There isn't, just when they're ready. I mean, we're fortunate that it's like Stepford Wives where I live, and there's so many people keeping an eye on him, and they say, oh, I've seen George walking on his own. Yes, that's because I've let him. But actually, it's such a nicer start to my day because I'm not rushing back and being feeling like I'm being rude to somebody walking back saying, oh, I've got to go, I've got a meeting.
I've got to get into work.
If I was doing the school run, then I wouldn't be on this call now. So yeah, it just gives me more options, which is nice.
No, that's fine. That sounds really good. And then we've got Martin and Carol. So talk to me. I don't know how you want to do this, guys. Do you want to do it individually, or let's start with Carol? So Carol, talk to me about what's part of your morning routine. I like the fact that you've got a coffee. I mean, that's clearly coffee's going out of fashion because there's people on like the sort of peppermint teas and stuff like that, but still like a coffee in the morning. What else is part of your morning routine?
I go for a run a couple of mornings a week, but other than that, it's yeah, we like to have a family breakfast, and yeah, just try and do as many meals together as we can. So lunchtimes are very quiet now. The kids are back at school, but yeah, before it was a case of all 4 of us buzzing around, and yeah, it's what we like. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's important to just like make sure that you're carving out that time together, isn't it? Because it's too easy in this environment to just all be on a different laptop in different rooms to make sure you've got time together. Yeah. What do you talk about on your sort of meals? Is it just anything or everything, or?
Well, now the kids have gone back to school, it's made us realise that when they were at home, we just had nothing to talk about. Meal times were really like, oh, what do you say? But now we'll get down from the table and, you know, well,
how was your day?
Yeah, Martin said the other night, that was brilliant. It's like we couldn't get a word in. The kids were just da, 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 and so excited about everything. So, yes, love it.
And you know what I'm loving? The kids are loving, I mean, my 2 are loving being back at school because they're surrounded by people that aren't us.
Basically.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, thanks, Carol. Martin, talk to me about your morning routine. Does it differ?
Carol's normally up first. I'm a bit more like the kids. I will stay in bed until the last possible moment. Apart from the odd day where I do get up and go for a run. The healthiest thing I have in the morning is a fruit juice. But yeah, it's stay in bed last possible moment. I'm not particularly a morning person, which is why Carol's normally on this networking. But yes, I'm more of an evening kind of guy. So yes, as much sleep as possible, and then get up last possible moments. But then yeah, so we do have breakfast together with the kids, and yeah, then straight to the office.
And then, do you stay up later at night? Are you, or do you just need more sleep?
No, I still don't get enough sleep. But yeah, I'm a sort of 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, go to sleep.
Yeah, go to
kind of guy.
Yeah, I understand that. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate that. Sharon, talk to me. I mean, I am jealous now because Rachel apparently has just been delivered a Starbucks. It says in the chat. So that's really good. And bear in mind, before we go on to Sharon, this is live on the Facebook page. Normally we get loads of people watching again and sort of sending us comments throughout the week. But if you are watching live, make sure you sort of type that in the comments, say hello, ask any questions you want of anybody in the room, and we'll make sure that we pass those questions on. Sharon, tell me a little bit about your morning routine.
Morning, people in the boxes. How are we all this Friday morning? It's
good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So morning routine, yeah. Empty the dishwasher from the night before, put a load of washing on, sort out the drying machine, squeeze in some breakfast and a cup of coffee if you're lucky, and start on a nice early meeting.
So what's the earliest you sit at your desk? What time are you getting cracking with work?
6:30.
Really? So super early. And do you find that couple of hours is a bit more productive just because there's no distractions, or not?
Yeah, because there's no questions, there's no phones ringing, there's no emails. I don't do that every morning. That tends to be max 2, maybe 3 mornings a week. But it just gives me a chance. I split my work between stomping on ants and eating elephants.
Yeah.
And it just gives me a nice quiet time to stomp on a load of ants, or at least make a big chunk into an elephant.
I don't know how everybody else manages this, but I mean, my phone is just on Do Not Disturb, Like that's constant, because I want to manage my own time and make sure that I'm proactive as opposed to being reactive. And I know that doesn't work for everybody's business, but certainly I find it works for me. And then I've got slots in the day where I check emails. Now I'm guilty of popping in and just sort of checking them every now and again, but just having those assigned times allows me to manage my time a bit better. I suppose the balance with that is making sure that you're there for your clients and customers, but because we've got sort of guys in the office, we make sure we're always there. How do you manage that sort of gap between being reactive and making sure you're there for clients, but also managing your own time?
So I tend to split my time. So first thing in the morning and last thing at day is for me to do bits that I need to do sort of on the business. Yep. During the day, it is more client facing, it is more client relations, it's more client work, it's more client meetings, potential client meetings. So at the moment, I'm at this tipping point where I almost need more support, but not quite ready to give a solid chunk of work to a subcontractor or anybody else. So I'm trying at the moment to balance this in the business, on the business.
Yeah,
it's working, it's good.
And I think, I don't know what everybody else thinks, and it'd be good to talk about this as we go through and talk business, but that balance continues to exist throughout the growth of a business because it always changes, doesn't it? It's an interesting sort of balance to try and get right. So yeah, we can certainly talk about that. And then Shelley, how are you, Shelley? Is Shelley around?
I'm good, thank you. Apologies.
Is Shelley around?
Apologies for my camera, it just doesn't want to work this morning, so I don't know what's going on there.
No worries. Yeah, really well. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine.
Yeah, really well. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine.
I'm getting me in stereo. That's never a good sound, is it?
I'm getting me in stereo. That's never a good sound, is it? Let's be honest.
I'm not really a morning person either, but I have tried since the lockdowns and working from home. I tried to get up, walk the dogs, and just get some fresh air before I start work, because I think it fires you up for the day, to be quite honest.
So yeah, that sort of just having a routine and a bit of physical activity is really important.
Having a routine and a bit of physical activity is really important.
Shelley, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself, please. Just hearing me first thing in the morning is definitely not part of my morning routine. So what we'll do is we'll. Lovely, thank you. That's definitely better. What we'll do is talk a bit of business, and we will start with Leslie. Leslie, talk to us about what's going on in your world business-wise. First, we'll explain who you are and what you do, and just tell us what's happened in your week work-wise.
I'm Leslie Morrissey from Inside News. We do reputation marketing, so I get people to rave about you, which is reputation, authority, visibility, and expertise. It's been the first 3 days of the week were manic, and I spent an awful lot of time doing social media posts for 2 different clients across about 4 platforms for one and 6 platforms for the other. And they're all unique. So we try not to use identical posts. So it's the content might be around the same subject. So between us, we were doing that and all the images to go with them. Not that I'm a graphic designer, but you know, the images for social media are pretty straightforward. So the first 3 days of the week we're sort of full on running to get all that done and up and running and what have you, because one of them is a newish client who's given me a sort of very, very, very specific brief to meet, which is great on one level because so few people know who their ideal client is, and he absolutely does. But on another level, it narrows down what you can say to a point that it gets very repetitive if you're not careful. Yeah. So and then yesterday everything was done except I had one thing to do, so I wrote somebody's LinkedIn profile and then I bummed around all day. So it's great. Had 3 really long days. It was really nice to take my foot off the gas and sort of go, actually, I can sit and look at the flowers my kids brought me for Mother's Day. So,
but you know what? I mean, it sort of went a bit pear-shaped during lockdown, and since we started Havering Means Business. But in 2019, we closed the office at 2 o'clock on a Friday anyway, so it's an early finish for everybody. But Fridays are my sort of writing and just a day where I choose to do what I want. And it does mean that those 4 days are busier, but actually having that extra day, and I might choose to work, I might choose to do some writing, or I might choose to do something else, but having that sort of extra day spare helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Talk to me a bit about, you mentioned about sort of the 6 platforms on the social media and then 4 for the other business. I mean, and again, I'm not an expert on this, but certainly we choose when we talk about Savello to say we're going to pick LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter as our platforms of choice, just because actually that might be where our potential clients might be. Help me understand a little bit about how you help your clients make that choice.
Well, we do. That's exactly what we do. But the one with the 6 platforms, firstly, they have 2 audiences, and one is a business audience, and one is a they're not exactly consumers on that link, but they're independent people, which so they turn up on Facebook. So we've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We've got 2 LinkedIns. We've got a LinkedIn personal page profile and a LinkedIn company page, and the content is different for those because it's different when you're writing from a personal perspective. Then we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, and we've got Google My Business for him. So we've got a lot.
Yeah.
But the other one, interestingly, is a litigator. So, and has a very, he's looking at his target is shareholders who are being ripped off by minority shareholders. That is a very, very specific group of people. So he's both the LinkedIns. He does Twitter. He doesn't do Facebook, but he does do Instagram.
Why?
And that was interesting. But I think it's because Instagram is a bit random and lots of people are looking at it, even though they may not be in work mode at that moment. So, so the challenge for him is finding quirky, interesting images that are not boring and soliciting. And that's what was part of the brief. It's not, suits and cufflinks and blue. It needs to be, John Wayne with a shotgun, that kind of thing,
But I mean, as niches go, minority shareholders who are being sort of taken advantage of is pretty niche, isn't it?
No, it's the majority shareholders who have given away some shares
Too much.
in order to get somebody into as a partner, and then they're siphoning stuff off, and that happens. It does happen. That there's one case he had where somebody had actually got a mirror website and was busy stealing all the customers from them. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Poor form, isn't it? You know what? I look at that and go, in a society where everything is so open, like the one we live in today, is that just too much? Like, if you do that, you just get a reputation for being shoddy, don't you?
People do it.
Yeah, people do it.
Because they think they can get away with it.
Yeah, maybe I'm too naive, Leslie, I don't know. All right, thank you so much for sharing that. Lee, talk to us about your business and what's going on in your world at the minute.
Yeah, morning everyone. I'm sure Steve has told you about ERB. We're a sort of general corporate commercial broker. Been established. We're just having our 7th year. I started it 7 years ago. Week's been a busy week. Renewals, quite challenging. Speaking with insurers, negotiating. But it's ended up quite nicely because we've got a good referral from an existing business of ours into a new one. Sort of sizable 6-figure premium. They sort of transportation for air freight. So at the moment we're sort of going through a bit of a profiling with them, and let's see what we can do to help them out. So yeah.
And you've got as far as we're aware, Lee, I know Steve mentioned this, you've got a bit of a transportation niche, haven't you?
Yes.
Is that Tell us about what's going on in that sector at the minute that's different to potentially a year ago.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, insurers are looking for sort of better run businesses, risk managed. You know, technology has taken over a lot really for these sort of haulage businesses. They have telematics, camera systems, and the majority of insurers just will not entertain looking at anyone who hasn't got this technology on board anymore, because, you know, it's that kind of big brother looking at you, but it's also an independent witness if you have an accident. So insurers are very much technology led these days, which is a good thing, you know, but obviously it's a cost element to the client, but ultimately they get that back in their premiums as well.
But there's an element of de-risking for the insurers, isn't it? That's why they like it, because it's all tracked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, most insurers have to sort of rely on the fact that the client presenting, you know, camera footage or presenting the technology to them. But yeah, I mean, it works well, and I think if you run your business well in that respect, then insurers will give you a better premium for that.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that in all sectors, just having a better run business saves you costs over the longer term, particularly in insurance, right? Because it's, you know, it's certainly in our sector, just having quite a clean vanilla business. I mean, our biggest insurance cost is probably our professional indemnity, which I don't look forward to getting the bill every year, to be honest. It's not one of my favourites, but certainly having a clean business that's pretty transparent helps us make sure we keep the costs on that as low as possible. But yeah, all good.
Yep, indeed.
All right, great.
Sorry. I'm just saying goodbye to my daughter. She's going to school.
yeah. Have a good day at school. All right, thanks, Lee. Really appreciate that, mate.
Thank you.
Rachel, talk to me about what's going on in your world work-wise.
Again, had a really busy week. I've got 2 clients that have never sent out newsletters, so I've been working with them to really dig deep into what it is that they do, and I've put that together for them, so that's going out. I like to be creative. I like to really get to know my clients, so I'm able to come up with ideas. So that's fabulous. I've got some new inquiries this week from some of the networking I've been doing, which again is great, and I received an amazing testimonial, so all things are fabulous.
Okay, talk to me about the testimonial. What did it say?
Oh, it said, hang on, let me get my LinkedIn up, because I popped it on there yesterday. It says, bear with me, drum roll please.
I think I'll do it because I'm the only one not on mute.
It says, Rachel's become a real asset to the Your Claim team with strong interpersonal and marketing skills, a strong entrepreneurial spirit, and a great sense of humour. Rachel always adapts fantastically to any situation given. A creative thinker and a hard worker, we depend on Rachel and Jeannie to undertake regular admin and marketing tasks with time-saving solutions to complex problems.
That's a lovely thing to say. How long you worked with that client?
I did some ad hoc work for them last year when they needed some case studies and things for their website to be made to look pretty, let's say. And towards the back end of the year, I've been working with him on a retainer basis, managing some of the projects that he's undertaking. I've done some site visits for him. Yeah, so pleased with that.
Amazing. Yeah, really good. Thanks for sharing that. Really appreciate that.
You.
Simon, talk to me about what's going on in your world.
For those who don't know me, my name's Simon Lewin, as it says on the screen, and I work for an organisation called East London Business Place, where we offer fully funded support. What that means is we offer free support that is sponsored by Havering Council, amongst other investors or providers, other boroughs, private investment, etc., etc. This week we had our Havering network meeting, which went really well, and as a result of that, people are doing business, as it were, in the room. to coin a phrase from another networking organisation. So that's really rewarding. I decided at the end of last week to spend a little time on Instagram this week about mental health awareness. There's a lot of things coming up in conversation with clients where they're struggling with certain things. It's been a thing from probably beginning of the year, but it's becoming more and more apparent. I think it's also becoming apparent when it comes to the return to an office-based environment, the anxiety, stresses, etc. So this week I've made a conscious effort as part of my morning routine to do a Instagram post about mental health and setting boundaries and thinking about yourself. And Blue is now a star on Instagram. So if you actually do want to see what Blue looks like, you can actually find him somewhere on the social media platform.
Amazing, good stuff. Share with us your favourite wellbeing and mental health tip.
I suppose it's probably for those people who are old enough, the Mars Bar tagline: work, rest and play.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
A few nods there, I can see.
Rest and play, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Amazing. My head's just gone to the Smash Robots, because that was my favourite advert when I was growing up. But I don't think there's any particular relevant mental health analogy I can make the Smash Robots. But work, rest and play is a good one. Terry, talk to me about what's going on in your world.
Busy week, very busy week. And I get a little bit frustrated that I just don't seem to have time for development. And what you're saying about the phone on mute and mapping out some time is something that I'm kind of conflicted in, because I want to be there for my customers. I'm reacting. You're saying about checking emails. I've got my phone with me. If it beeps, I look and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Is it an email I need to respond to now, or is it something that I need to, like, I can put to the back?
I mean, you know what? We're lucky in that respect, because Cassie and Herb and Russ are really good at the sort of reactive response stuff. And that frees a bit of time to me. But I genuinely don't think you ever get the balance 100%. I just always think there's a bit of a battle between sort of both.
Customers should be going to the WPA head office to make their claims, right? But they trust me and Gemma.
But the relationship's with you, right?
Yeah, they want to talk to us about what's happening. So, and we pride ourselves on that service. So, fair enough. But I mean, like I say, I got a bit frustrated. But I looked at what I'm doing just today. So I'm networking. I've got a CPD training after this. I've got a one-to-one call. I've got a new customer to sign up just before lunch. After lunch, I've got an introducer who wants to talk to me about corporate, he wants to bring on board. And then I've got an existing customer I've got to talk about his renewal, like at 3 o'clock. And then if I can fit it in, there's another networking at 4. So I just look at, I mean, it's quite diverse. So
you're having a relaxing Friday, right?
Yeah. I'm glad the sun's shining. It makes me feel better about sitting here because I can see the blue sky.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's I mean, there's an element of it, Terry, where you go, look, I'm glad I'm busy. Do you know what I mean? In the economic environment we're in, the fact that, and I count myself lucky that we've had a really good year and things are progressing as a business. But there's always that element of saying, can I have some time back, please? Because I want to do some like longer term strategy stuff, isn't it? And that's the challenge.
Yeah, I'm wondering how I managed to play golf last year, because this year I'm just like, okay, I'm not been allowed out, but I'm thinking that I'm not going to have time.
Yeah,
exactly. At the moment.
Well, I'm thanks, Terry. I really appreciate that. I mean, one of the things that I'm looking forward to / definitely not looking forward to is getting back to Phil's boot camp on Saturday morning. Because I mean, I've only done one, and that was tough. But talk to me about what's going on in your world, Phil.
Yeah, because to be honest, I'm really looking forward to getting you back out of the boot camp as well. I've got lots of burpees lined up for you because I know.
Oh mate, have you been saving them up?
I have. They've been building up. I've been putting them aside for you. Don't want you missing out. No, as I said, for me, it's been, as I said, the last couple of weeks been pretty exciting because since the announcement from Boris a few weeks ago, in terms of the timeline and when our lockdown's going to be kind of easing at those certain stages, it's been quite exciting because it's actually given me a way to start planning coming out, which this week or last week I announced it to community. This week I announced it kind of on to the wider social media. So 3rd of April, so Saturday 3rd of April, going to be back outside at Damien Sall doing the outdoor boot camp. So it's really exciting, kind of a little bit of normality starting to I think starting to creep back in for everybody. We are able to kind of maybe plan a bit better, see where we're going to be, and I think it's easy to see people's sort of moods and motivations and things starting to pick up as well. We can start thinking about not just looking at the inside of our houses anymore, 4 walls. We can get outside, maybe, you know, socially distance, start seeing people again, starting making those connections and getting in within our communities again, which is going to be fantastic.
It's like, I mean, it's similar to what Terry said earlier. It's that actually, as humans, we want to see people, don't we? We want that like social engagement, and like so the transition is going to be different. I mean, it'd be interesting because I know that sort of you launched your business and then lockdown happened.
Yeah.
How do you see your business moving forward? Is it going to be a lot more virtual than you thought in the first place, or moving back?
Well, when I have to be honest, when I first I was in a position where I launched the business. The launch of the business, it was always supposed to be outdoors, supposed to be an outdoor boot camp, because typically within I guess within the fitness industry, everyone talks about kind of self-reliance, self-motivation, but actually the social element of, you know, getting outside, exercising together as a group can be such a like as big a motivator as whatever your goals are, because the social element of getting out together, having fun as a community, and actually doing things as a community together, achieving goals together, is so powerful. So
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that element, because we've done, obviously when you're going online, obviously I'm a local business and I'm focusing on trying to help the community, people within the local area. But when that's kind of taken away, you then when you're launching a business, you're then having to force to go online. You then start competing with massive players. So I guess the one-to-one, the personability factor, it becomes less of a selling point because you're all doing it through a screen. So it becomes quite difficult. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think the difficulty I have now is the business was always supposed to be outdoors, trying to encourage people to get outdoors. There's a lot. People don't, especially in the spring and summer, people don't need that much motivation, don't need that much encouragement to get outdoors. People want to. So you're just trying to help facilitate that in a way that's actually a bit more constructive sometimes, and actually bring people together. And obviously people realizing that, you know, they're not often with health goals, that it's quite personal. People feel quite alone and quite kind of in their shell about it. Where actually when you get to these boot camps, you see people on like different ends of the spectrum, everyone in it together, realize actually we've got a lot more common ground than maybe you think if you're just kind of left to do it on your own.
100%. And I think part of that, I mean, it's weird because, you know, even though Zoom's been a pretty decent sort of proxy for getting out and about, I don't think it's as good. You know, it's just one of those things where you like sort of really getting out there and being active is what you want. So yeah. Thanks, Phil. Really appreciate that, mate. Ian, talk to me about what's going on in your world.
Well, first of all, as you know, I posted into the Facebook group the webinar I mentioned last week. So I'm looking forward to that. The webinar's pretty much all written. I'm just finalising the smaller details of what to say. But the most exciting thing of the week is that I was introduced to my mentor from the Santander program yesterday. So
where'd it go?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a lady who runs a marketing agency in Norfolk near Norwich, and yeah, I mean it's a small business like any other. There's a history, so it's getting to know the person, and helping them to realise their dream. You know, that's what it's all about, right?
Amazing stuff. And is it a brand new business established, or where are they in their sort of business cycle?
They're kind of 2.5 years in, and there's a team of 4 of them all told. So you know, it's a reasonably vibrant business. So I've not had my first meeting with them yet. I've been introduced to them, but I would say that they're probably in an upscaling cycle at the minute. So no, it's going to be an interesting relationship. I'm just so excited to see how it develops. Yeah,
100%. That sounds super exciting. Talk to me about the webinar and who should attend.
If I'm going to be honest, there's probably going to be something in there for everybody, because unless you're a hardened cybersecurity expert, there's probably going to be bits in it that you can glean some good information. And once you know something, then you can start making decisions as to whether you want to accept the risk that's been highlighted, or whether you want to do something about it and close that risk out.
Yeah. And why the collaboration with CME in particular? Why are they a good partner?
I've used, I went down there in the past, and my best client came from the seminar that I did down there before, and I like the management guys down there. Seb and Samaya do an amazing job, and they look to work with local businesses. They're not there to take advantage of people. The flexibility that they offer smaller businesses is absolutely amazing. So
okay, cool, good stuff. Thanks, Ian, really appreciate that. And if you want to find out about the webinar, it's all available on the page, so certainly take a look. So as we're on webinars, and I'm really excited about a couple of webinars I've got coming up, let's go on to Sharon and talk to Sharon about what's going on in her world.
So we did a webinar this week, which was a really, really good one, actually, because we highlighted something that for small businesses, I think is going to be brilliant. A partner that I work with has brought out a new product called Predict. And the beauty with Predict is you can look at your cash flow, and it literally gives you a little crystal ball. And you can have a look at your debtors, and you can say, okay, I know this one's paying this day, this day, this day. You can put those dates in. You can then have a look at your supplier payments, and you can say, right, this one's due then, and you see it live. It was brilliant. I was so excited by this, because you watch the cash flow change on the screen. So you can then balance your outgoings to your incomings. And as you know, cash flow is a real big thing of mine. So for me, this was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, and that ability to predict, that ability to sort of map out somebody's business finances, and for us, for their personal financial goals, it is like having a little, and again, you know, is the bit where I do the disclaimers, Sharon. It is based on certain assumptions and based on a bunch of inputs that we put in that we need to make sure are accurate. But having that crystal ball and giving somebody the ability to say, actually, I'm on track, or I need to take action, is quite powerful, isn't it?
Absolutely. And as we're coming up for repayment for deferred VAT bills that is out there, so if anyone's got a deferred VAT bill, I have a big recommendation for you. Don't pay it by the 31st of March. You have no incentive to do that. Apply to defer your payments, and you can spread them if you apply now before, I think it's the 21st, you can still spread them over up to 10 months. So, and there's no penalties for doing that. So it's a no-brainer. Don't pay them now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep the cash for other stuff temporarily, and then just what the HMRC don't need it, right? You know, they're just...
Well, they did it, but they're still trying to be this face of reason, aren't they? So,
Yeah,
and while they're being the face of reason, you've got no reason not to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Single loans, bounce back loans are going to be a little bit different because the onus on collection is on the banks. And the banks at the moment are rolling out new agents, I think they're calling them, which are basically debt collectors. And they are going to be pursuing these because they can't claim the government guarantee until they can prove they've pursued absolutely.
They've taken action to claim the debt back. Yeah.
Absolutely. So those are not going to be as easy. So if you've got bounce backs or CBILS loans, start looking at your cash flow, start formatting those into your repayment schemes.
Yeah.
Got a few options with bounce backs, which is a bit easier than CBILS, but CBILS are quite rigid and the repayment terms on those haven't changed.
Okay, amazing. So that's good tips there. Thanks, Sharon. And then we're launching our webinar pretty soon, aren't we? I think we're going to launch it next week, and we're just deciding on the name. I mean, there's been so many emails back and forth about, you know, here's 12 ideas. What's the best one? Sorry, not 12, 12 and a half.
12 and a half.
Here's the best one. But I'm really excited because I think the bringing clarity both from somebody's individual financial aspirations and their business financial aspirations will certainly add a lot of value in terms of people attending. So I'm looking forward to running it. Thanks, Sharon. Shelley, I'm going to go completely quiet now because I'm conscious that you've got a bit of feedback on your mic. But just tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world work-wise.
Yeah, no problem at all. That's fine. If you start talking, I'll just mute it again. So hopefully we won't have too much of a feedback. So I'm Shelley Fitzpatrick. I'm a solicitor at Madison Peak. I'm based in the commercial department and I specialise in lease extensions and enfranchisement. So I've had quite a busy few months. I guess lease extensions on residential properties is something that people don't really want to do, but have to do it a little bit like doing a will. And where people have been at home more, they've had more time to think about the things that should be doing. But it's definitely been a busy few months. This week's been particularly busy, heading towards the end of the financial year. And yeah, I've got a lot of completions today after this, so I'll be busy all day. No lax Fridays, unfortunately.
Good stuff. In terms of Shelley, can you just mute for me? Well, I promise I'm only going to ask you one question, so people don't get me on feedback too much. In terms of the rules around residential property leasing, what's happening in terms of landlords being able to ask for rent? Because there was an element of applications not going through court, wasn't there?
There was. That's more kind of like landlord and tenant stuff. So it's not massively my area, but they have put a hold on basically getting tenants out that aren't paying rent because of obviously everything that's going on with COVID-19, which sounds like a great idea, but there's a lot of landlords at the moment that are really feeling the pinch, you know. And yeah, it's a bit of a mess, to be quite frank, and the courts have got a huge backlog, as you can imagine. So when they do allow evictions again, I imagine there's going to be a lot of landlords out of pocket. I know that it's certainly a big thing in our litigation department at the moment. Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting actually, because whereas some of our clients previously relied on sort of buy-to-let income to supplement their own sort of financial goals and plans, the reality is that buy-to-lets, from both a tax perspective and from a sort of consistent income perspective, have taken a hit over the last couple of years. So it's an interesting time. Thanks, Shelley. Really appreciate that. Christine, talk to me about what's going on in your world.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Christine from Perfect Layout Digital Marketing. So we help our clients with their websites and their digital marketing, so that can be a full range of things. And this week has been quite a busy week doing different things. So we're finishing off a client website. He had a redesign. We've been writing proposals. We've done a lot of networking, including the Simon's group this week. and also a GMB, so Google My Business. So for one guy who hasn't got one at all, it's building it out to its maximal potential and using all the kind of facilities that a GMB. So one guy who hasn't got one at all.
Sorry.
Oh, that's you, Chris.
That's me. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, it's been a nice busy week. It's been a bit full on. I'm planning to take a couple of days off next week. So yeah, I just kind of feel a little bit more pressure in making sure that I've crossed everything off. But no, a good week.
Okay, good stuff. Russ, I've just checked the comments and Julie Bell was trying to get into the meeting. Can you just speak to her about seeing if she can come in? Is that all right? Thanks, Russ. Thank you. And talk to me about what, if you're in a particular sector, you know, what sectors you really be looking at Google My Business?
Any company, they all should be looking at it because it's another platform in which people can find you. So if you're hoping to get online inquiries or people are searching for your business, then you need to be looking at that because it's one of the things that draws the eyes when you're doing an online search. Yes, you have on the left-hand side, you've got the ads at the top, then you've got the organic, which means the strong websites are performing, but sometimes you have that box on the right-hand side, which is the most important, according to the Google algorithms, business of that search term that you've put in.
And quite eye-catching, right? You know, it's the element where you actually, the more that I'm sort of Googling stuff, you'd go to that more immediately.
Yeah. The only slightly annoying thing is what you put in the background. So you've got a chance to do a company description, you do your products, and you've got business information. Not all of that is easily visible in the Google My Business, but it's that content that's there that helps you get visible and gets you get placed. So your product is seen, your services are seen, but sometimes a company description doesn't come up, but that's where you need to put your keywords in for what you want to be found for.
And as we're talking webinars today, do you want to plug your webinar you're doing with ELBP?
Yes, thank you very much. So yeah, we're doing that on the 30th of March. So if you saw my presentation when we first started doing the speaker presentations, I gave you an overview and presented to you, but we're breaking that down as an actual workshop. So it's a chance for us to talk about what those 9 key principles are, but for you to have a bit of a breakout time to look at your website, give a critique, and then we're going to do some feedback as well. So
it's going to be a live in action thing, right? You know, sort of just getting involved, getting engaged, checking the website.
Yeah, so I'll put the Eventbrite link on into the chat, and I'll also post it to the group if that's okay.
Amazing, yeah, really, really good. Thanks, Christine, really appreciate that. I'm going to let Julie in because apparently Julie didn't get a link, but she is here now. Julie, how are you? Oh, she's just connected. I was way too premature there. Let's wait until Julie's here. Hey, there she is. Julie, morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm loving life. I've been sat here since 10 to 8 waiting to get on to see you beautiful faces.
You've been watching us though, haven't you? Because Facebook's telling me you. I've checked the Facebook comments and I was like, Julie's like, let me in. Do you know what am I at?
I've been banned from this group. I said to Georgia, I said, I don't want to remember anymore.
Well, it's ever since you're in the bush, Julie, I don't know what you're going to come up with each week. Talk to me about what's going on in your world.
It's actually been quite a full-on week this week. Still a lot of learning for me with regards to learning about the business with Action Coach, but in a real positive way, and I'm feeling a lot happier about myself and my position. So I think this has been one of the best. I've had the best fortnight really. So yeah, I'm really happy.
What's changed? What's changed in that 2 weeks?
Do you know what? I had a chat with Mark yesterday, and it's to do with me personally, really. I know what I've been employed to do, and I couldn't wish for a better position. And I know where I want to be at the end. But I'm a real, I don't know if you can pick this up, I'm a real people person. And I love being and meeting people face to face. I don't think there's any, you said it, I was listening to you earlier, there's nothing like that connection. And I'm having to do a lot of texting, a lot of emailing, and I'm not confident that I'm coming across as me.
Yeah.
Does that sound a bit weird to anybody? I don't know.
Not
but
so. I get it. 100%.
Yeah, I think after a year now, I'm getting a little bit, you know, I want to be out there. I want to be, you know, meeting people, feeling the vibe, you know?
I am ready to feel the vibe. The only problem is the first time I'm going to be feeling the vibe is at Phil's boot camp, and I don't reckon I'm going to be feeling the vibe after that, to be honest with you, Julie.
Can't you chuck a sickie?
You know what? I need the accountability. That's what I need.
Yeah.
I actually need to go along and get it done. So I could. I mean, I'm paying for it, so I could chuck a sickie, but I'm probably best not to be honest.
Just get it over and done with. Was it face the elephant? Just do it.
You know what? It is. Like a lot of stuff in life, once you've done it, you always feel better for it, don't you? You know, and actually, to be fair to Phil, it is good fun. It does make it.
I can imagine,
enjoyable. So I don't want to paint it like it's the worst experience in the world, because it is actually amazing. So that's all good. Thanks, Julian. Thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate that. One thing that we didn't ask you, because you weren't on, but we'll ask you now. Morning routine. What's part of your morning routine?
Oh, come on. Knowing me as you know me, do you think I have a routine? The routine, Chris, is that I open my eyes.
Fair enough. I was expecting you to say, I don't know, I did a bush, or I do.
After I've let the dogs out.
Exactly, yeah. Good stuff. Thanks, Julie. Really appreciate that. And I'll add my 60 seconds as well before we come on to Martin and Carol. I think everybody knows me, but my name's Chris Dames. I'm at a business called Cervello Financial Planning. We've been around now for 11 years. We're financial planners, and our job is to help people get financial clarity and get to a point where they've got financial independence. They can sort of make work optional. They can decide whether to work or not. Interestingly, a lot of our clients have got to a point where work might be optional, but they choose to carry on because retirement might not be something that they intend to do, because they actually enjoy what they do. But having the financial freedom to get to a point where they can have the choice is what we do. And that includes all of the technical elements, pensions and investments and things like that. But our philosophy is all of that comes second. Somebody's goals and helping them live the life that they want to live is the first bit. You know, let's make sure that we're in a position where we're supporting people to achieve their financial hopes, dreams and aspirations. That's what we're about. And then, because I don't normally do wins of the week at the end, I'm going to just mention that we are a chartered firm. There's only about 400 firms in the UK that are chartered, and we're the only one in Havering and all the way up to East London. There's a few in the city, but we're the only chartered firm in East London. So that's all good. Apart from Ilford, there's one. But yeah, I've clearly researched that way too much, haven't I? Clearly. But yeah, so we're really proud of achieving that. Particularly in lockdown. So we're going to talk to Martin. Martin's going to share his insights on his own business, but particularly at why we should consider using sort of door-to-door marketing potentially as something for all our businesses. So Martin, I'll let you take away. Has Russ given you permission to take over?
Yes, he has.
Cool, good stuff.
So 1 second, let me just right. Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure I was in the right place. In terms of what we've been doing this week, I'll speak for Carol as well. Though we've got Buckhurst Hill Parish Council. We're doing their newsletters that we do quarterly for them. So we've got 5,000 of them going out. So if you know anyone in Buckhurst Hill, then they should be getting their newsletter soon. I know lots of the residents in Buckhurst Hill rely on, you know, still getting things through the post from the council. You know, not everyone's on email. So, you know, it's a big thing in Buckhurst Hill for elderly residents and others.
Yeah, there's an element of community outreach there, isn't there? Because you're helping people stay informed. Yeah, it's not all, you know, pizza menus. Having said that, we've got a new customer who's a pizza place in Chadwell Heath. So
My Friday night will be spent going down there and picking up 25,000 of their menus. So I need to make sure the car is clear first.
What I've got to be honest, Martin, what I am missing is Carol not doing her wins of the week way early, because that's what she does on a Friday. She just says, I've had an amazing week, this is what's been happening. And I feel a bit lost this week because we haven't had the chance to do that. So I'm really looking forward to the end when we get to do that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'll let you present.
I was going to say, it's unusual for me to get to speak first, Chris, but right. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Martin. For those of you that read my bio on the event page, you know me very well by now. So I don't need to say too much. For those that didn't read it, Chris has your names, we're not happy, and we will be hearing from us. So briefly, I grew up in Seven Kings. I went to Aston University in Birmingham to study transport management, one of the joke courses at the university, which meant we had lots of free time. So lots of time wasted in the snooker halls and in the student union. So perfect course, really. I joined the shipping industry and then spent 13 years at Royal Mail, got bored and bought a leaflet distribution franchise, which, as you know, I now run with my wife, Carol. The attractive and intelligent of the two is how she always describes me. We have 2 kids, both like running, and I like almost every other sport too, when I get a chance to watch it on the telly. So today I want to talk about the do's and don'ts of leaflet distribution, and I will get my slideshow on. Right, hopefully everyone can still hear me and still see that. So do's and don'ts of leaflet distribution. There is a little quiz that I'm going to do as we go. It's not loads of things, but take a pen and paper, and there is a prize for the winner. So that should make some of you planning to listen but do other work feel a bit more engaged. I haven't got along, so I apologise if it's a little bit rushed, but there'll be time, I hope, for some questions at the end. So make a note of them, write them down along with your answers to the quiz as we go. So why still do door drops? Is it out of date? Is it something that we don't need to worry about now that everyone gets their information on a little screen? Well, here's some of the answers. Still, 80% of the UK's top advertisers use door drops. I won't read all of that, but as you can see, 87% of consumers remember door drops compared to just 35% of people remembering emails. So first question, what percentage of consumers like getting door drops that involve, sorry, and I'm just moving you because you're in my way of what I'm reading. Like getting door drop product samples, vouchers and offers, what percentage? And obviously being kind, I'll give you 5% either way on the answer to that. And this is not my research, by the way. I haven't gone out and asked 10 of my top customers. You know, this is independent research done by the DMA and Royal Mail and other such companies.
So I'm gonna hazard a guess. Oh no! Oh, are we not guessing? All right, we're not guessing.
If you listen at the start, you please write down your answers, and we'll go through them at the end. Okay, so let's start at the top, and we'll look at design. Now, we offer design, we offer print. You have to do neither with us if you don't want, but we'll go through the process from the start. So these are ideas of how not to design. The one on the left, far too boring, no pictures, no offers, there's no call to action. The one on the right looks cheap. Again, it's far too wordy, has not been thought through properly or laid out at all professionally. You know, this is not the sort of thing that you want going through your door representing your company. This is more like it. Straight away on this page, all of your eyes are darting around to the pretty colours, the nice pictures and the offers of things you didn't know you even wanted. All of these leaflets have been designed, apart from the Love Heart one, they've been designed by us, working back and forth with the customer until they're 100% happy with their design. That's the service that we offer. You know, we know what works on a leaflet. We've got good designer, and you know, we don't want to put anything out there with your company's name on it that's not going to work, as much for you as it is for us. Printing, you know, surely any old print will do, any old paper. Well, that's not really the case. You need to have a little think about it. You know, would you invest money in a pension company if they sent you through some really thin paper that they've scrimped and not invested in? I don't think you would. Obviously, if you choose not to print directly with us, that's fine, because there are some great local printers around, which we work very closely with. You can still get it delivered straight to us. Take away all your delivery slot and storage worries. There's a myth that printing is bad for the environment, and oh, I don't want that, and you're chopping down trees. Well, yes, you chop down trees to make paper, but if you've read that fact at the bottom, which is quite an astonishing fact, you know, you're actually doing some good when you buy paper. So, you know, helping plant the trees, and not everything we do in this to this world is bad. You know, we're growing the forests thanks to you guys buying paper. Okay, so onto the distribution side, the main thing that we do. There are some companies that charge just £20 to £30 to deliver 1,000 leaflets. We recommend against using these companies because somewhere along the way they will use methods like this. Scruffy teenagers, guys in a van sent to an area they don't know with a scattergun approach and an old A to Z. In order to make a profit, they won't be able to deliver all your leaflets. So some of them will end up in a nice untidy pile somewhere floating down the River Ron. Or they'll be rushing so much that they're putting multiple through the door and leaving them sticking out, one of the bugbears of the residents. We do not leave leaflets sticking out the doors because it just screams no one's home. If you're getting delivered by us, this is a sort of friendly face you may well see out and about. We've known Michael for over 3 years, and he loves, and that's not an exaggeration, he loves delivering. Chats to people while he's out and about. Most of our people are like Michael. They want a couple of hours work to do, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, just to get a bit of exercise, get paid for doing it, and enjoy what they do. You know, they're considerate, they're not rushing around trying to make quick money and cutting corners and jumping fences. You know, we're proud of our post people who we employ, and you know, me and Carol will try to catch up with all of them every week just to check in, see how they're going. Okay, so in terms of where you're delivering to, going back to the company charging peanuts, in order to make money, they will deliver to pretty much anywhere. It won't necessarily be the best place for you to deliver. For example, if you're a roofer, you don't want to be going to blocks of flats like these on the left. That's a complete waste of your money. Question 2 in the quiz, where are those blocks of flats? There's a clue, it's in Havering. That's not much of a clue, obviously, but where are those blocks of flats? And question 3, as well as roofers, can you think of any other business that won't do very well if they concentrate their delivery on flats? And that's nothing to do with, you know, the person's disposable income that might live in the flats. It's more to do with the physical living in flats. So write down a business that you think does not really want to go to flats. Question 4, and yes, we've got lots of questions on this slide. Can you name the foreign city on the right-hand side from the satellite image? It's probably far too far away for your business to want to deliver to, and it's going to be a little bit too hilly for our post people too, probably even hillier than Collier Row. And again, the little picture of bungalows at the bottom, you know, it's not a good target market for stairlift companies. So these are things that probably won't be thought about if you're paying £20 to £25 a thousand with the other companies. What we can offer targeted marketing. This is information that we can provide to the customer to make sure that you are targeting the highest proportion of your target market. So don't settle for anywhere. We can offer this demographic information. This particular slide is information that we'd sent to a Jewish bakery. They were looking to target the higher Jewish population areas in Loughton for their Woodford bakery, just to try and branch out a little bit more on their deliveries they're doing. As you can see, the left-hand side of Loughton has got a high percentage of Jewish population compared to the Debden area, so that's where we focused their leaflet drop. With this slide, this shows families with any dependent children, 2 or more dependent children, with the youngest age between 0 and 4, and we provided this information to a nursery that was setting up in Hornchurch. So as you can see, the redder area here on the right hand side, Emerson Park, very low percentage of people with young families, because people have not made their money to move to Emerson Park by the time they're 30. So we kept away from Emerson Park and kept it into the areas that are a bit more yellow and a bit more green, people with the younger family. This one shows mean house prices from 2018. So house prices are not just useful for estate agents or partners who love going on Rightmove. Yes, Carol, I'm looking at you. They do allow companies to find areas, people with higher expected disposable income. So if you're selling a higher end product or service, you're better off targeting Gidea Park as opposed to Harrow Hill or the centre of Collier Row, as shown by this map here. Again, not saying that people in Collier Row won't buy the high-end services, but to maximise your chances, you want to focus more in the darker, more expensive house areas. Okay, so if you run a delivery service or you have a base that you don't want to travel too far from, it's good to know your numbers and the market that you have within those areas. So these are radius household maps that we ran for the YMCA when we first started working with them about 3 years ago. It shows that within a 2-mile radius of the YMCA, there are 59,200 households. And I know what you're thinking, you haven't had a question for a while. So question 5, if there's 59,200 households within a 2-mile radius, the map on the right shows a 2.5-mile radius. How many households are there within the 2.5-mile radius? And I'll give you 5,000 each way on that one. Again, being the generous person that I am. Knowing the numbers, knowing the target market that you have allows you to budget and plan your campaign or campaigns more effectively throughout the year or even further ahead. These next slides will show you a little bit more about what we do on the day-to-day job. How do we ensure that the leaflets are delivered properly? They're quite wordy. I'm not going to read through all of them, but all of our people get a map, proper map, with boundary roads that they only do one side of, proper instructions, and know exactly where they're going. On the back of that map to every person every week, there's a report form. On that report, how many have you delivered to? What roads have you delivered to? Where haven't you delivered to? Particularly important for upcoming elections, when you've got campaigners that might not get a leaflet come through their door because there was no access, or they couldn't get into flats, or there was a dog barking that they didn't feel comfortable delivering to. So we'll make a note of all of them every time our people go out. How do we train our deliverers? We don't just stick them out there with the bag and our leaflets. We spend at least an hour with them on the phone at the moment. Before I was allowed to visit people's houses, but now it's all done on Zoom, and we go through about 45 minutes to an hour of training. This is what you do, this is what you don't do. They get given a detailed instruction document about what to do, what not to do, how to use the GPS tracker. and they sign a legally binding contract saying that they're not going to subcontract to their 15-year-old son, and they're not going to give it to someone they might know that wants to help them on the round. That's not the idea. They do it, they've been trained, they've got the tracker. As mentioned before, people have got all week to deliver, and we give them average of about 1,000 letterboxes to deliver to during the week. So we monitor distribution by putting our own leaflets out on every round, unless the customer specifically wants to go out on their own, which not many do, but some do. We put our own leaflets out with every round. That's how we advertise our business, but we also find our post people that way. All of the responses to these leaflets are monitored on a daily basis, not just by ourselves locally, but by head office as well, at door to door. The main way we monitor distribution is through tracking. We individually give our people GPS tracks. We don't track that bad van that comes into the area and people jump out and go anywhere. All of our people carry an individual tracker. It tracks them every 3 seconds. You can see them, as you'll see on the next slide, walking up to every front door. So they can't just walk down the road and give us good GPS tracking. Here are genuine examples of our actual local GPS tracking. Very neat patterns. If you're interested, and this is not a quiz, if you're interested, then the left is Collier Row, the top of Collier Row, top right is some roads near Clayhall. As you can see, all the houses have their doors on the right hand, on the side of the house, which is why the walks up to the doors are so long. And bottom right is Chingford. Okay, this is your tiebreaker question, a question of distance. This is Heather Close in Rise Park. The close itself is 160 metres long, and our post person has delivered to all of the 31 houses. It took them around 16.5 minutes. How many metres have they walked here in total? So up and back and delivering to all 31 houses. Take a guess, and because it's your tiebreaker, just write down your answer, and we'll work out who's closest should we need it. Okay, a few things just to finish off. Most leaflet distribution companies will charge you for a collection. We will charge for free, providing you're within our area. Most companies won't update you during the campaign. They'll just maybe, if you're lucky, ring you at the end and say they're all done. We will send you weekly reports to keep track of where your leaflets are going. Again, most leaflet distribution companies, if not all, will just recycle any returns they've got back from no junk mails, from no access on maps, and will just recycle all of them. It's far too much effort to put back out into piles and back out on rounds. That is what we do. If you pay for 10,000 leaflets to be delivered, we will deliver 10,000 leaflets, not 9,900, 10,000 leaflets. They go back into the piles and they will go out on other maps. We're not pushy and we don't like to sell. Both Karen and I pride ourselves on our customer relationships and the service we provide to our local companies, big or small. And thankfully, most of our customers feel that way too. You know, we've got some good reviews on Google. We work with our customers closely. Okay, if you're all ready, please mark honestly your quiz answers. So number one, how many customers like receiving door drop product samples, vouchers or offers? It's a whopping 93%. So again, not my surveys. Number two, where was this? This was Slewins Close in Hornchurch, just off Slewins Lane, next to Haynes Park. Number three was other businesses that you should not focus your deliveries into flats. There's just a few: gardeners, driveways, patios, window cleaners, unless you're going to the business owners and you're the window cleaner, and hot tub sellers. It's pretty hard to get a hot tub into the top floor there. Again, unless they've got a wonderful roof garden, in which case go up there, have a look, and then try and sell your hot tubs. I will give you any other firms that are realistically not meant to be targeting flats, but be honest there. Number 4, where's that? That is San Francisco. Golden Gate Bridge to the left, Alcatraz Island to there. My favorite of the US cities that I've visited. If you get a chance to go to San Francisco, please go. It's not like LA, it's laid back, but I say it is pretty hilly. And number 5, so 51,200 households within a 2 mile radius of the YMCA. How many within a 2.5 mile radius? 91,200, so an extra 40,000 just with that extra half a mile radius. Those of you that remember your pi r squared for areas of a circle will have got closer to that than those that didn't remember that pi r squared. Okay, tiebreaker, should we need it? 160 meters to walk up and Heather Close, so 320 minimum to walk up and down. But that post person walked 850 meters. Again, there are houses on the side in Heather Close, so they're walking a little bit further to go up there. All calculations have been done for that tiebreaker question. So if you do want to know all of the calculations, if you're sad like me, then please email us directly and I will get back to you with all the answers.
Amazing. Thanks, Martin. Really appreciate that. I've got 2 there. I've got San Francisco right, which I'm super proud of, but also the one about the gardens, one on the stats, I just completely failed on. So hopefully everybody else did well. I'm just conscious of time because everybody needs to get on with their day. So we'll quickly go around. Thank you. That was really good. Really appreciate you doing that, Martin. What we'll do is
we get around and ask, get people's scores, Chris. And if anyone's got the same, we'll need to find out what their tiebreaker answers are.
Yeah, so Terry's got 2. What we'll do is if we post the answers on the group, then we can do the tiebreakers and work out where we are from there. So thanks for doing that. Right. So as we're on talking about door to door, and Carol's ready. I can see her getting ready for this. Let's talk wins of the week. Carol.
I'm so excited. That was a win anyway, because that was so good, that presentation. I know I'm biased, but yeah, lots of info, and it's not, you know, the most exciting subject, but hopefully that was exciting for everyone as it was for me. But anyway, weekly wins. We're getting so many inquiries from all the political parties, the Residents Association, all of that, ready for the elections and that general springtime of year. They like to do their newsletters. So yeah, even a few people already signed up, and yeah, I think it's going to be big, so we're really happy.
Oh, great stuff. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Rachel, talk to me about your wins, apart from your amazing testimonial, clearly.
I think that was it, to be honest. I have got nothing else to say, so that definitely was my win of the week.
Keep it simple. Love it.
And making Sharon my accountant, that is an absolute win. Amazing stuff.
I like the way you went, I've only got one, but here's another. Love that. So talk to me about your wins.
I think my win of the week is some of the feedback I've had from clients, ranging from legend even, to actually getting some contract win information, people winning business, which we can report back on.
And thanks for everybody who's sharing with me the business they're winning through being part of HMB. That definitely helps us develop and move forward. So thank you. Leslie is clearly excited about Red Nose Day. What's your win?
Well, the win of the week is appearing in the Red Nose Day video. We were heroes. So Chris has mentioned our choir leader, Andy. He's completely bonkers and has been streaming Boris. Have you seen the video yet, Chris?
I haven't seen Red Nose one, no.
Right, okay. I'll put it in the group. It's absolutely hysterical. And we've raised, I think, over £4,000 since Monday.
Love it.
So we're aiming for 10. But, you know, we got Hero of the Week from the Red Nose day crew. So they actually, we got hero of the day on Tuesday, I think it was.
And Andy, I mean, I interviewed Andy for the podcast that we run. I run with Charlotte. That's going to be coming out soon as well. So I'll give you a shout when that is. So thank you. That's an amazing win, Leslie. Well done.
Happy Red Nose Day, everybody.
Happy Red Nose Day. Terry, talk to me about your win of the week.
It's actually a win of the year. So I sat down and looked at quarterly numbers. So at the beginning of the year, I sat down with Gemma and set some pretty aggressive targets. We're 35% above what I'd set. So
amazing.
Time to reassess and push it up a bit further. Otherwise, Gemma go home and put her feet up.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like just setting those aspirations again and just saying, can we drive it forward? It's really good. Well done, Terry. Christine, talk to me about your win.
Well, my win's a personal one. I became an auntie again on Sunday.
Oh, lovely. Amazing stuff. Good stuff. And baby good?
Baby good, mum good, very smooth delivery, and yeah, they're all doing beautifully. So
love it. That's a big win. Phil, talk to me about your win.
So yeah, for me, it's I've got a couple. So obviously, one, super excited to obviously announce going back outdoors, a slight return to normality. But yeah, had been having quite a few. I think with everything that's going on, had quite a few inquiries and had a new client start this week as well. So yeah, it's really positive, good, really good to see, encouraging.
Great stuff, and great to see you again, mate. Sharon, talk to me about your win.
I think my win for this week was finishing finally my ebook. Now all I have to do is get the design and the graphics put onto it, and the webinar, I think.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Julie, talk to me about what's going on in your world win-wise.
This is me, yeah? Not the other Julie?
Only one of my two favourite Julies is on, so it's the Julie show. Take it away.
My win of the week is having two fantastic strategic alliances hit the ground now, and we're going to run with them. So we've got ideas that we're batting back and forth to put on webinars for these accountants clients. So I'm really, really pleased about that. I've had so far 2 really good one-to-ones. I had a great one with Sharon and also attended her webinar, which was really, really interesting. And I had a great chat with Rachel the other morning. That was good fun. So yeah, it's really, really good.
Amazing, great stuff. Thanks, Julie. Really appreciate that. Ian, apart from meeting your mentor, what's your big win?
Well, I've got a meeting with Julie later on today, so I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I think otherwise, it's just the announcement that I made on LinkedIn with the in Chosen has got now over 3,200 engagements, so that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, great stuff. And can I just say, I mean, one of the things that I'm really loving about this group as well is just that strategic alliance stuff, because there's a lot of that going on, and certainly one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on at the start of quarter 2 is who I can partner with more closely to support them and for them to support us. So yeah, thank you for getting so actively engaged in that. Shelley, talk to me about what your wins of the week are.
Well, I've had a really busy week. I think my wins have been, I've had 4 new instructions this week, which is pretty good and towards the latter part. And also just networking with you guys. It's nice to meet new people, even if you can't see my face because my camera's playing up. Yeah, it's been a good meeting.
Lovely. Well, I'm thanks for being here, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And that is it. I mean, can I just ask, Martin, is there a prize for the quiz, or are you? Is this just for the satisfaction of winning? There's a prize, so make sure you get your numbers in.
Unless you choose just to have the satisfaction, we do have a prize.
We'll take the prize. I don't know if it will be me, to be honest. I don't know if it will, but certainly the prize sounds good. So make sure that you put the comments in the video to let us know what your scores are and in the tiebreaker. And apart from that, we're all done. Have an amazing Friday. Have a really good weekend. And I'll see you on the community next week. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.